All right, welcome to another episode of Evening Crypto with your host, the real Shaw 256. And tonight I do want to bring you the news of the day, some important events. I think the biggest thing to talk about really is the whole IRS releasing their new sort of direction or recommendation, the long-awaited recommendation that was due quite a while ago, at least a couple of months ago, when the IRS actually Congress started to pressure the IRS to actually come out with some clarity as far as how cryptocurrencies should be looked at, assessed, and evaluated from the IRS perspective. And they finally come out and said, sort of given us some guidance as to how these things should be treated, how cryptocurrencies should be considered when realizing the value, whether it's through an exchange from crypto to dollars or fiat, any sort of fiat. And this is obviously U.S. based. So for anybody that is not in the U.S., you will probably want to maybe fast forward through this first section of the video and then head towards the TA, which we traditionally, we'll talk about the news and then we'll get into the charts, and then we'll talk about what Bitcoin is doing, um, and go from there. So I do want to do a quick recap of the market. We're currently sitting at $231 billion. Right after yesterday's video, we did see a move to the upside about 5%, 6% maybe on the day. So that obviously brought a few more billions back onto the market. And now we're looking at 24-hour volumes. We're currently trading at 68 billion. Now the Bitcoin dominance from CoinMarketCap, I've decided that I'm not going to really use that as the official index. I think I'm going to go with the index over with the folks at TradingView. I do believe they have a little better reporting on this, so I am going to be using this index as opposed to CoinMarketCap. We're currently sitting at 68.95, which we can see in the last day or so, the last couple of days, we have seen Bitcoin dominance take to the upside, right, and recover quite a bit from this dip from the year high at about 73, 74%, down to about 67% at some point in the last couple of days. And we see it now having an actual bounce. We're sitting currently at 68.96, almost 69%. And we could potentially actually come back and retest 70% pretty soon here. All right, so that would mean that the altcoin pump that we've seen would also, maybe come to an end or come to a culmination, and then we'd see a Bitcoin obviously with its dominance rise, and then the altcoins take a negative effect to that, or an adverse effect to that. All right, so let's first start with the most important piece of news. I do want to reference a video that I did for you guys on July 26th, earlier in the summer, where I read to you guys this article posted a while ago by Coin Center, and in short, I'll read the first part of this article so you guys can get an idea and maybe remind yourselves of what we talked about. You can also go on my channel. It is the episode from July 26th. It's on the title, IRS Wants Your Money. The agency's self-imposed target date for guidance passed last week without action. No Congress. Now Congress is stepping in. And this is from July 9th, 2019. On May 16th, in response to a letter from 21 members of Congress, IRS Commissioner Charles Rettig wrote, "I share your belief that taxpayers deserve clarity on basic issues related to the taxation of virtual currencies transactions, and have made it a priority of the IRS to issue guidance. And that additional guidance would be issued soon. 2 weeks later, at the May 30 Federal Bar Association Conference, Commissioner Rettig was more precise about the guidance timing, saying that it would be coming very soon, could be within the next 30 days, could be even less than that. May 30th was 40 days ago as of the posting, as of the printing of this post on July 9th, 40 days after that, and there is no guidance yet. So we do see IRS taking their time with this whole thing, but all this pent up waiting around and anticipation for the guidance on behalf of IRS to come out, and what do we get? What I'm sure by now you guys have heard or read about what the guidance really entails. And I gotta say, I do feel a little shortchanged here. I do feel that the talk about guidance was a little misrepresented or a little bit blown out of proportion. I for maybe this is just me, and you guys can let me know down below how you guys might feel about this, but it sounded like they were going to come out with a new structure and sort of revise their old recommendations or their old guidance and come out with a new set of parameters, guidance based on maybe new research, based on the IRS going out and consulting with actual crypto currency firms. I mean, there's a ton of resources out there now, good, solid, reputable resources that could have provided some insight and education to IRS members that are responsible for coming out with this sort of guidance. So I do feel again that they've taken a long time, more than what they themselves pretty much have told us to keep a track on certain dates for new recommendations to come out, and then they don't comply with their own word. They don't stick with their own guidance, right? So and then really what they came out and said was what they really came out and said now, and this is the link that I will leave here on the description of this video to give you guys direct link to the IRS page, and how the new guidance or what the new guidance is really talking about in regards to cryptocurrency, which the new guidance really talked about. They really just talk about airdrops and how those will be treated, and after a hard fork event of your coin, how that will be treated, how specifically airdrops will be treated, and if we go actually. Again, the link will be in the descriptions for you guys to link directly to this. But if you scroll down to question 21, here is where we start to see and really start to get into the new guidance on the IRS's behalf. One of this question, starting with question number 21 here, one of my cryptocurrencies went through a hard fork, but I did not receive any new cryptocurrency. Do I have income? So the answer there would be, in simple terms, is no, right? It says it went through a hard fork, but I did not receive any of the cryptocurrency. So obviously, I mean, it's probably very obvious, but the answer is no, right? There is no taxable event there. You did not receive any additional coins, so therefore, nothing to talk about there. Question 22, one of my cryptocurrencies went through a hard fork followed by an airdrop, and I did receive new cryptocurrency. Do I have income? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You do. Pretty obvious, right? Question number 3, how do I calculate my income from cryptocurrency I received following a hard fork? So when you receive cryptocurrency from an airdrop following a hard fork, you will have ordinary income equal to the fair market value of the new cryptocurrency when it is received, which is when the transaction is recorded on the distributed ledger, provided you have dominion and control over the cryptocurrency so that you can transfer, sell, exchange, or otherwise dispose of the cryptocurrency. So again, pretty obvious. They're pretty straightforward with this sort of stuff. Um, and then question number 24, how do I determine my basis in cryptocurrency I received following a hard fork? If you received cryptocurrency from an airdrop following a hard fork, your basis in the cryptocurrency is equal to the amount you included in income on your federal income tax return. The amount included in income is the fair market value of the cryptocurrency when you received it. You have received the cryptocurrency when you can transfer, sell, exchange, or otherwise dispose of it, which is generally the date and time the airdrop recorded on the distributed ledger. Again, referencing when the actual event occurred, and as of that moment, you have received income, and as of that moment, whatever value is recorded at that time of the event is to be deemed as income. So, in other words, back in August of 2017, when Bcash came out with its fork, or when Bcash forked off the main chain, people received their airdrop coins, and so at the time of the event, the question is, how much was Bcash worth per coin at the exact time when it was airdropped, or when you received those coins into your wallet? That is the value you have to go by. That is the value that they will tax you on. Now, a lot of people have been complaining and saying that obviously Bcash has dropped significantly in value since the actual fork happened. So, what should you do in that instance? Well, in that, and this please don't take this as financial advice. You should always consult your accountant with this, and also, look at these resources. But basically, the gist is you will have to record a loss, right? You've received these coins at their actual value at the time. From that point forward, if you have not transacted, as they say here, sold it, exchanged it, or otherwise disposed of that Bcash, then you're still obviously holding it. So now at this point in time, it is worth a lot less. So you would have to record a loss there with that transaction. But if you haven't done anything with it and you're just holding it, then the guidance does say that there is no taxable event yet. Okay. Let's see. Let's move forward here. So again, the guidance was very much, you'll see the whole publication here. You'll see the entire article. You'll see the entire guidance here within the IRS page. And you guys can, definitely look at that and keep on reading for anything that's pertinent to your individual situation. There's a ton of questions out here and answers as to how you should proceed if you own or have transacted in cryptocurrency. So basically, again, to summarize, if you have exchanged, used, bought, sold something with cryptocurrency, then that is a taxable event, and you should report that as either income, or that you received something in exchange for cryptocurrency, and anything that has value should be considered a gain, and so should be definitely reported and included in your income taxes. I know that's a bit boring if you're not in the US. If you are in the US, I know that is a common and very popular question that arises all the time as to how cryptocurrencies are treated in the United States when it comes to filing your taxes, and how you should report on those. All right, so hopefully this has been useful to you guys. If it is, definitely let me know down below, and let's discuss. Let's talk about this stuff. as it is something that it is very, very important as we continue to transact or hold any of these cryptocurrencies. All right, so let's now jump onto the charts. Let's get into first off Bitcoin, as we did see again a move to the upside recently. And before we actually get into that, I do want to take a second to give a shout out to Susie Q, who is one of our newest members to the community. Susie, welcome to this community and to this channel. I do appreciate you subscribing and being part of the community. Definitely leave your comments and thoughts down below. We'd love to hear from you guys anytime that you watch these videos. This channel is meant to be interactive and for us to share ideas. So definitely leave your comments down below. And if you are watching this video and you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do so. And also hit the bell notification button there as well, so you do get notified whenever I do put out these new videos. All right, so going into the charts, we did see Bitcoin having sort of a nice reaction to price action. We were holding right around $81 to $8,200 in the last 24 to 48 hours. We did hold that that level there, and then we did see Bitcoin actually continuing to the upside in the last day. Pretty much, the last, let's just call it the last 12 or 14 hours, we do see Bitcoin actually responding well to that. We are looking at the daily chart. Now, what is to be expected? As I told you guys on my last video from last night, really, we haven't really changed our mind yet, right? There's nothing to really to be really cognizant of, except for yeah, we did have about a 5 to 6% hike on the price in the last 24 hours, but we haven't really hit any key levels, right? And what I mean by this is I'm looking at this 200 EMA here. That's where I'm really paying attention to. As I was telling you guys on my last video, this 200 keeps coming down, and it has now found some resistance, some converging resistance here, along with the 21 EMA here and the 200. And so this area for me is going to be very much a key point if I do want to, and Bitcoin really wants to change its tune going forward. We definitely want to make sure that we open and close some significant candles. I'm talking like a 4-hour or higher, maybe like a 6-hour, maybe like a 12-hour, something like that, above the 200 EMA here, certainly above the 21. That will start to shift our mindset as to what is going on here with what might happen in the near future of things with Bitcoin. But as of right now, we haven't actually broken above the 200 EMA. So we remain pretty much as called during last night's video, which is, and let's actually jump to our Bitstamp chart here and bring out our drawing tools here and start to take a look at what we talked about last night, which is this huge macro trend that we can trace back to right around the third quarter back in 2016. We did see this sort of trend line of support building on an upward momentum trend, and we do see that holding throughout the years. Actually, it's now been about almost 3 years to the if we start charting this line here of support right around the third quarter in 2016, we have seen Bitcoin test this range quite a bit back in 2016, 2017, and 2018. Most recently at this bottom here, back here in February 2019, and then from there we actually took off from it, and we came up and retested this top area of resistance, which again, we have said that Bitcoin does like to draw and trade within these triangle patterns. It just loves to do that. It just gravitates naturally towards those patterns, and then we do see a move play out after those patterns are filled, and then we do see a reaction like we did see here. We did see Bitcoin actually breaking below that descending triangle, reaching for new lows, and then once we touched bottom there, Then we did see Bitcoin actually having a nice run up all the way to 14,000 almost, and then we formed another triangle, broke down below it like we did here. We were talking about how this formation looks like a mini version of this, and then we resolved to the downside just like we did. And look at this area here, right? I mean, look at the same type of movement here. So if history does repeat, I mean, we do say that history does sometimes can repeat or rhyme. If this is true, and the fractal boys or fractal guys are then having throwing a big party because maybe they already bought into here, thinking that Bitcoin is going to do the same thing that it was doing here, sort of a rounded bottom, and then having just a quite nice reaction to that. So that would mean, for the fractal people, that Bitcoin will probably come back and retest this bottom area here around 7,700, and then start to round off and start to climb slowly up into this area of resistance here again, which is quite possible, right? It's definitely a possibility. Now, going back to what I was talking about on last night's video is we haven't hit any key levels yet. We haven't gotten above the 200 here on the daily, and so there's no real reason as of right now to start to change our mind about this. So what I really think eventually is going to happen is we might actually come back and retest this bottom area of support here, this ascending line of support, which is a good thing, right? Because it is ascending line, so it means that we don't have to come back and retest 3,100. Now, if we were to come back and retest 3,100, then that would mean that we broke down below this previous area of support, and we would certainly retest 3,100, but I don't think we would actually stop there. I do think we would actually break down below it, and retest some way back in the day previous lows, like maybe 1,000, somewhere in the $1,000 range, right? But it's still too far. It's still way. I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves there with that whole scenario. I do want to keep it more on the realistic, or at least what I think is more realistic, which should be, eventually gradually come back and start heading towards these bottom areas of support here. I did draw this line here, or this blue box, as a key area of support. If we do come back and retest this, we should initially see a big bounce, as it is, as it would mean that we did actually breach down below the 786. And again, this would be an area where a lot of buyers would come in and find Bitcoin would find a lot of support. So this box here represents a big, huge psychological target here, again, for a bounce. If we do breach down below it, then certainly we should see Bitcoin actually come back and bounce off of this bottom area of support. We might see sort of a grinding through the upwards, and then eventually come back and retest again this area of resistance, coming hard on a nosedive here. And so that the Bitcoin price action would start to compress within these areas here. That would mean that we would be due for a massive move, right? If this whole thing is playing out. Now, whether this, I mean, anything can happen, right? Anything's possible, especially within cryptocurrency markets. We are trading certainly a sort of a shallow market. So it would be very easy to actually take off from here. I mean, I don't want to say very easy, but it would be, it wouldn't be as difficult as, say, in traditional markets. So anything could happen, but again, I am leaning towards this macro trend actually playing out and having another retest of these prior low areas before we actually come back and retest this line of resistance. That is what I'm trying to get out to you guys as a message. Hopefully, you guys are listening to that. Hopefully, you guys are paying attention. Definitely let me know down below if you guys agree with me or not. If you guys maybe heard it somewhere else. If you guys are is also coming in agreement with what you guys are seeing in the charts, or maybe you don't agree and you think I'm crazy, definitely let me know down below, and hit the dislike button or hit the like button, whatever you want to do there. But let me know what you guys are thinking. And again, I do encourage you to please leave the comments here within the YouTube platform. That way I can follow the conversation and reply and stay engaged with you guys, as opposed to maybe commenting on the Facebook group, or the maybe through our crypto Twitter account, or maybe through Instagram. Wherever you are watching the or listening to the video, please make sure you leave the comments on the YouTube platform. All right, guys, thank you for that. So let's continue on with the shorter term of things. Let's actually clean this up a little bit. There we go. And so for the time being, again, this is going to be the key thing, right? And we're so close to the 200 EMA that I do want to actually keep my eyes open on this. To be completely transparent with you guys, I'm not in a trade because I did think that we were going to head down further, so I wasn't interested in entering a trade here. We did started to hold that price action around 81 to 8200, so that I was a little skeptical, but the move actually did play out, so I missed the trade. I'm not going to go in right here unless we actually break above the 21 and the 200 here. Then I would actually play this as a breakout. Would actually play this as a breakout. Now, we did see a breakout earlier today from this pivot here, from this previous high on this point here at around 83.50. Once we broke out of there, you can definitely say that was a breakout move, and you could have made a nice trade there. Let's actually put a measured move on this guy here. That would have turned out to be about 2.64% move. Not too bad for a day's worth of work. But again, I missed it. I'm not trying to get in here right now. That would be just trading suicide right now. That would be just bad practice. So if you're watching the video now, don't FOMO into this. I would wait for a bounce, or again, wait for another breakout if we do get above the 200 there, and start closing some significant candles above it. Then again, that would be maybe the next play to make. And we certainly can talk about, then at that point, we'd certainly talk about Bitcoin having continuation to the upside and coming back. The next area of interest to me would be this previous pivot low here. Let's actually adjust it just a tiny bit. Actually, it's looking pretty good. If we do break above the 200, we are going to see a little bit of resistance here at 8,900. But then, the big point for me would be at 9,300. Again, a little far-fetched. 9,400 actually, a little far-fetched, but that is certainly possible, since we are very, very close to that, to breaking above the 200 EMA there. And I did draw another box here for future price reference, so you guys can look at it. This is the sort of thing that we can always come back to, and sort of check ourselves and recheck ourselves going forward. Now, we did also break out above this descending line of resistance here within this triangle that at least we thought we were forming. We'll see where this actually ends up playing out. We might have to readjust this line here to form sort of a wedge here. We'll have to see it. We'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, we did see that Bitcoin did actually break out of there, giving us the signal that there could have been a trade there. But again, I was a little too late to it. I'm certainly not going to play that there. I am expecting sort of a correction here, certainly a rejection off the first try here, and then come back and retest this bottom, this previous area of resistance, which should act as support, and then we'll see from there, right? We'll have to reassess once we get down to these levels. See if we don't break back into this previous triangle here, and actually continue on downward to test the point 618 here within the Fibonacci extension tool there. All right, so that is what it's looking like as of right now. Again, we're looking at the daily. This is a new daily candle we just printed. We are printing now. The last one closed at let's see what we closed at, 85.60. which is a good solid area to have a daily close. Again, we're so close to the 200 on the daily that I definitely got to keep my eyes open, and I encourage you guys to do the same thing if you want to trade, or if you want to get into a possible breakout trade maybe tomorrow. Let's look at the 4 hour. What is the 4 hour telling us? Let's actually clean it up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it's on the 4 hour as well. It's definitely reaching to towards that 200 EMA here at 89.56. Let's Let's look at the daily. I don't expect a full confluence there on the 200, 89.56. This is 86 to 85. So again, the key area for me will be about 80, 86, 80, so 8,700. That's right where the 200 is coming in at 8,700. Again, these levels keep adjusting to catch up with price action. So, I mean, the 200 was coming in at around 87.50. As I told you, maybe last week, one of our last videos before I went on vacation, I was telling you guys about 87.50 being the sort of the catalyst for a possible breakout, or just a bounce above there would mean a lot. That would mean that Bitcoin has certainly made a mistake coming back down here to retest the 377. It actually has reacted and bounced quite nicely off of there, and so that would mean that maybe we would have continuation. But that's neither here nor there. That's in the past. It didn't happen. So we got to talk about what's happening right now, right? So 80, what is it here again? 86. So 8,700. That's where the 200 is coming in on the daily. That's really where I'm looking at. The 400 is telling us that if we do get, or on the 4 hours, telling us that if we do get it around the 89.50 to 89.70 area, that's where the 200 is coming in on the 4 hour. That would even be even more bullish if we get to this level here. All right, so let's look at some lower time frames, see what's going on there, see if we can expect a move. We do see a correction to the downside starting here on the lower time frames. We're looking at the 3 hour again. RSI is definitely letting us know that it's planning on getting into the neutral zone here within the RSI. So there's definitely it is definitely signaling that there is more room to the downside. Let's look at the 2 hours, telling us the same information. There is confluence there with the RSI, letting us know that there is definitely some room to go down. Now, I do like this posture here on the 2 hour. And the 2 hours in the past has definitely given us some good signals. So I am paying attention to this also. You might want to leave that on your sticky note on your computer, on your monitor, on your mouse, or wherever you'd like. But right now we are holding on the 2 hour. We're holding above the 200 EMA, which is again in the past has served as a good place to look for answers. And we do see here again the 200 coming in now, acting as support, and we do have the 30 again coming in right in confluence with it, and Bitcoin just staying above it. So this is a good sign on the 2 hour. RSI is definitely pointing downward and into the neutral control area. And let's actually enlarge this. So, I mean, just looking like it might want to turn around actually. So again, I am paying attention to this. Certainly we'll have to, if we do continue to the downside, we should have a retest of this 21 EMA here within the RSI, and we could find a possible bounce there. But it would mean that on the 2 hour, at least, we would have to dip down below the 200, and then we'll have to see how Bitcoin reacts from there. All right, so the 2 hour definitely giving us some good answers there. Pay attention to that. I certainly will. The 1 hour is actually looking very bullish. It is currently on top of every moving and simple moving average, every EMA and SMA. So it is quite looking bullish right now. The 30 is definitely acting as sort of the governor of price action right now, but it does look like at this very moment, looking like it is actually using it as support. Doesn't mean that it will remain that way. We do see a clear retest of the 21 EMA here on the RSI, and it actually is sort of giving us a signal that we might actually break down below it. So if this is true, if we don't turn around here and we actually dip down below the 21 here on the RSI, then, again, going back to the 3 hour, with this signal here, this definite dip down below the exponential here and getting into the neutral control area is definitely let us know there's plenty of momentum to the downside. So we could break down below this. Actually, let's look at the 2 hour again, because the 2 hour is sitting right on top of the 200 there. So the 3 hour and the 2 hour are giving us some confluence there. The 2 hours is definitely looking bullish, but again, definitely letting us know that we are in we're starting to really get into the neutral area here within the RSI, and so there's definitely room to go down. So if we do break below this 200 EMA here on the 2-hour, on the short time of things, I do think that there would be sort of a significant move to the downside. Certainly come back and retest this previous pivot here around 8,200, 82.25, 82.20, 82.30. And then quite possibly come back and retest this area here around 7,800. Again, if we do break down below the 200 there. All right, so pay attention. The 200 will definitely be a key area or a key chart to look at going forward in the short term of things to kind of place our bets. All right. So depending on what happens there, again, all your altcoins should follow. We do see XRP actually having a nice response to the bounce on Bitcoin side, having taking part in that whole reaction, that whole run up in price. We are back now above 27 cents, which is definitely good for XRP, for the XRP army. We are forming this sort of ascending channel, which you got to be careful with when you're trading this, because this also is sort of a bear flag that we could be printing here. So just be mindful of that. Okay, that's on the 4-hour. Let's look at the 3-hour real quick. See what that's printing. Pretty much the same. Although the 3-hour looks pretty good actually. Looks pretty bullish. It looks like it could actually have some continuation. 4 hours even looks a little bit. I forget to actually get into that. So the 4-hour actually looks better than the 3-hour. RSI though is giving us the opposite signal here. Although we did play out here, and it is planning on maybe having a bounce off the 30 simple there. So if we do turn around on the RSI here and cross the red exponential to the upside, then we could definitely could find some continuation on this move. Although it is looking to me, although the posture is looking pretty bullish. If this makes any sense whatsoever, I do think also that we could be close to exhausting our move here. Now, do we have any sort of bearish divergence here? I mean, could be so. It could be so, right? We sort of had the same high here, so double top, you could say. Not really taking the wick here in consideration. It does kind of look like a double top here on the lower time frames, but look at this RSI here. Is definitely letting us know there's a little bit of bearish divergence here. So we could actually break down from there and come back and retest some previous lows here. Break down below. Certainly the 377 at 21. I would expect, if this actually plays out, I would expect that move to actually break below the 377 and the 21 here. I would expect that maybe we'll come back and retest about 26 cents, 0.094. That's an area where I'd be putting my eyes on. We do have plenty of support coming in there, so I mean it could quite possibly be front ran before we actually hit the this bottom or this previous area, this previous pivot is what I'm trying to say here, around 26.094. Let's look at the 1 hour. See what the 1 hour is. Actually, it's trying to get out of the bear control zone here, and trying to have a bounce there. So for the next couple hours, we'll have to pay attention to XRP, see what it is trying to do. It is actually trying to cross the red exponential to the upside, which would mean momentum to the upside and maybe have a bounce off of the 55. This actually on the 1 hour, it doesn't look too bad. We're above the 55. So, I mean, definitely on the 1 hour is definitely letting us know that on the short term, there could be a scalp opportunity down here in the next couple hours. Just depending on what time you watch this video. Okay, let's actually switch over to Link. Let's actually see what's going on here. We got as high as, what is this here? As high as 295. I mean, just phenomenal run on Link's behalf here. 295 being the high of this run. And as I was telling you guys, I did paint this blue area here for you guys as a major area of interest. And I did let you guys know that if we did break above it, we would come back and retest and look at I mean, just textbook stuff, just like I called it. So if you want to fact check this, definitely go back and watch my last night's video where I was talking about these two targets. We hadn't hit this blue box here. We were down here somewhere around 240 something, 249, maybe 250. And I gave you guys these two targets. We actually hit them both. I told you guys if we did get above this target, I mean, just look at where we closed. I mean, even, I mean, just wow. Sometimes I even amaze myself. I know it sounds a little too arrogant there, but not meaning to sound that way. Just use these things, guys. Hopefully you guys are paying attention to these videos and are also paying attention to these targets that I set for you guys. It is free content. It is free stuff that I'm just offering up to you guys. So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of this. If you are paying for somebody to give you signals, you don't have to pay for that. You can find this free content anywhere, pretty much anywhere. So we did hit both our targets. And I told you at this point I would actually start to back off, as we did hit a major target here at 0.382, and then come back and retest this previous area around the 0.5 and this previous pivot here, which I do want to adjust here slightly. A lot of times these targets actually somehow, when I'm messing around with the chart, do get moved, and it's not intentional, guys. So sorry about that. I do want to actually make sure that, yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of do want to adjust it a little bit here. Uh, yeah, I mean, maybe right there. I do. I know. I hate it because I sound like Bob Ross whenever I do those things. So, um, sorry about that. But yeah, um, hopefully again you took advantage of these calls here. Let's look at the lower time frames again and see what's going on there. Again, I was letting you guys know that we were going to come back and retest some of these prior lows, as it is naturally. Anytime that you do see a parabolic move like we just saw with Link. I mean, look at the daily. I mean, look at how bullish that was. We were definitely due for a correction and a retest of previous levels. I mean, how bullish is this really? I mean, look at the separation between the nearest EMA or SMA. This is actually the 200 SMA here coming in. Look at the huge gap in between price. I mean, it's just I mean, completely bullish here. Although I do think again we're definitely due for a correction. We are staying within this blue box here. So although again, my opinion is that we should come back and retest some previous areas before we actually have continuation. But look at, as long as we're within this box here, we should remain bullish. We should remain bullish. I mean, we should maybe talk about a continuation and maybe come back up here and retest this blue box here at the 382. And if we do start closing some significant candles above or within this box here, then we could find also continuation off those areas as well. All right, so Link definitely looking very bullish. And just keep paying attention to that. Again, as long as we're within that box, well, we can definitely remain bullish and say that we could come back and have continuation. Right. Let's look at the 4 hour, because that is giving us some useful information as well. We're actually we dipped down below the 30, but then we regained the 30. We're currently just above it, just slightly above it on the 4 hour. I do want to see it again. Stay within this range, this blue box here, and keep opening and closing some significant candles here. If we do that, then again, we definitely stick to the narrative that we could have continuation there. I would like to see it actually retest the 21 here, or this previous pivot here, right around say 246, 245. I would like to see again a correction to those levels, and then maybe find continuation. But I mean, these markets are unpredictable a lot of times, so trade with caution. The RSI did dip down below the 21 EMA here, so it is telling us that it could actually have more correction and actually come back and retest the 21. That's what the RSI is telling us right now. But again, just react to the price action. Don't react to anything else. Really follow the price action. All right, again, if we break above this blue box again, then we are going to come back and retest this blue box over here. All right, so definitely pay attention to that. if you are trading Link. Link has just been one of those outstanding projects this 2019. Although we obviously did have a huge correction in Link as of the last few months. I mean, look at it. Look at the way it's been reacting to those lows. Let's actually put a measurement move on there. If you've been swing trading this, I mean, look at that. Oh my goodness, 94% from this bottom here. Gosh, I mean, just absolutely beautiful. You might be crushing it if you are again swing trading this Link here. I mean, look at this previous pivot here. I mean, just crushed it, just crushing it. So yeah, definitely pay attention to Link, as it has again proven itself in this market. Litecoin, just not looking like, looking very fragile, actually, looking sort of fragile from a sort of at a glance. I do like this though. I do like that it's getting, or at least it's trying to get above these moving averages. We've got the longer term moving averages. It's 377 to 200 coming in right above these, right above price action. Although I do like the fact that it actually moved up above the 89 to 30, the 21 to 55, the 200 simple. They're all coming in there underneath now. So I do like that for the time being. Although here's what I don't like. There's not a huge bounce off the low there. Let's actually, I'm going to use the wick just to be generous. 17%, right? Compared to what Link and other coins are doing from this bottom here, in comparison, doesn't look too nothing to really be too excited about, really. I mean, I know 70% is nothing. It's nothing to really shake a stick at. However, it's also not something to be overly excited, because again, if Bitcoin does decide to dump here, well, guess what? Litecoin's going to be. I think Litecoin will be hit pretty hard. Again, is looking from this perspective, it is looking pretty fragile, right? And Litecoin, again, would have a significant reaction to Bitcoin dumping. All right, we'll leave it at that with Litecoin. Let's just take a quick look at the 4 hour. 4 hours also looking. I mean, it's looking on the better side, right? But again, it's looking fragile. It does, if Bitcoin does decide to dump. I think there are better opportunities out there. Like certainly Ethereum is one of those as well, along with Link. Let's actually measure this move here from this ultimate bottom there with the wick to top. It's 30%. I mean, definitely twice as much as Litecoin. So I mean, definitely again, there's better opportunities out there with some of these other altcoins. But again, it could be that, again, as we said at the beginning of the video, Bitcoin is actually regaining some of that market cap share. So definitely be wary of that. Be careful when trading, especially at these levels now, because again, we could start to turn around and Bitcoin could start to regain momentum to the upside. Again, as we did see today, that figure does mean something. The fact that Bitcoin dominance did take a tick to the upside, regaining some of the market share, and then we did see Bitcoin having this reaction as well to that. So again, a lot of these moves are swinging back and forth. It's that pendulum analogy that I used a few weeks ago, where the pendulum does swing one way and then comes back the other way. So that's sort of the analogy of the money in this market swings to the altcoins and then swings back to Bitcoin and then swings back to altcoins, and then that cycle just repeats over and over and over again. So again, it could mean that we've already played out this altcoin pump, and money it could definitely come back into Bitcoin. So if that happens, and we do see Bitcoin tick above 70%, I do think we could find another bounce off of that, off of current prices, especially if we do hold here. Again, that pendulum could be swinging back to Bitcoin's part, or Bitcoin's way, and if that happens again, we could potentially come back and get above these very significant areas. Certainly on the daily, it's letting us know that I mean, we could quite easily come back and retest 8,700. And if we do, again, we start to change our mind about this whole macro trend, with Bitcoin here. Now I lost my Bitstamp chart. Here we go. Again, if we get above 8,700, 8,750 area, then we start to abandon this idea here that we might actually come back and retest this previous area. All right. I'll leave you guys with that. Again, if you did enjoy the content tonight, please hit the like button. Please also remember to hit subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you do get the notifications when I do put out the content. And again, hopefully you got something in exchange for your time tonight. Let me know down in the comments what you think. If you'd like me to cover another cryptocurrency or another project that you're into, definitely let me know. I will make the best effort to have it on my next video. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining. I'll see you guys on the next one.